Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to bring my October TBR pile of possibilities, my maybe list of what I'm going to be reading in October. I'm very excited about the list of books that I have, but I'm also definitely intimidated by them. So if you're not familiar, October has a great event in it, which is called Victober, which is celebrating books that were written in the Victorian period, which is from 1837 to 1901, and I believe published in the United Kingdom. Not 100% sure about that. There are 5 hosts of Victober, which are Kate Howe, Katie from Books and Things, Petra from Petra U, Roz from Scaladandaling About the Books, and Marissa from Blatantly Bookish. And they have set 5 different challenges for the month, which is fantastic. I'm really excited to participate this year. I am not good at meeting the prompts, so I will admit that up front. I don't even know yet if any of these books will work out for the prompts. There's also a group read of The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy, which I'm not able to read this year either, unfortunately, but I'm very supportive of this event. I will leave all of their channels linked in the description below with their announcement videos so you can go and check them out. Victorian literature isn't necessarily always my favorite. I tend to read it slower for whatever reason, so I am incredibly intimidated by my TBR pile. I'll just say that. I'm incredibly intimidated. All right, so let's start with my book club. For the book club, the book that I have selected is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. This book was originally published in 1848 under a pseudonym of Acton Bell. It's considered to be one of the first feminist novels. I am incredibly excited to read this. I can't wait. I don't know if I'm going to read it from this particular book because this is not the most readable format. This hardback, it's not nearly as floppy as I would want it to be, but I'm extremely excited to pick this up. If you want to participate in the book club, there are no requirements. It's just to read the book in October. I do have a Discord channel, which I'll leave linked in the description below. If you want to go out and participate in a conversation, it's not super active, so just be aware of that, but it does exist if you'd like to participate out there. But really, it's just about reading the book, and I'm really excited about this particular one. All right, so the next books, these are all on the 1001 book countdown, by the way, as well. Yeah, very intimidated though. So the next one I'm doing as a buddy read with Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia, and we are going to attempt to read A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I have tried to read this before and was not successful. And I know Tiffany has tried to read it before and was also not successful. So wish us luck in this one. This book was originally published in 1859 as a serial. It's the 17th Dickens novel in order of work. So it's for quite a ways down in the list. It also has one of the most recognizable first lines of a book ever. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. So I'm very excited to pick this particular one up. I don't think either one of these books meet any of the Victober challenges though. So we'll see later on if they do. I don't know. I just don't know very much about these books so far. All right, the third book that I have is a buddy/group read with AJ Dunn from AJ Dunn Reads and Writes, Heidi from My Reading Life, my friend Sonia is joining us, and we are going to be reading Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This book was originally published in 1874, and according to Scott over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, it is the least miserable of the Hardy novels. This will be my third Hardy that I have read. I've read Tessa the D'Urbervilles, and this year I read Jude the Obscure. So I'm okay with a not as miserable book by Hardy. We'll see how that goes. This one actually does have an adaptation, and I believe it was Petra from Petra U's channel, who her challenge is to read a book and watch the adaptation. So I'm going to try. I will see if I can find the adaptation of this one and read this one. So yeah, let's let's see how this one goes. But I'm excited to do another buddy read with AJ and Heidi and Sonia. I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to start this on, I believe, the 3rd and take just a couple of weeks to read it. So Far from the Madding Crowd. Wish me luck. Hope it's not miserable or as miserable as the other Hardy novels I have read so far. All right. And I have one more Victorian novel. Also doesn't, I think, fit any of the prompts, but the book is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I think this cover is gorgeous. This book is gorgeous. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to read it from this version because it's just not as floppy as I want it to be. But this book looks like it was published between 1859 and 1860. It's considered a sensation novel. It's one of the earliest detective novels. I can't wait to read this one. I've heard, again, nothing but amazing things about it. But this is a lot of chunky Victorian literature. And I read Victorian literature slow. So we'll see how this goes. These books are a little bit deceiving if you're ever familiar with these kind of paper ones. They have a very big introduction and a very big conclusion. So the book isn't quite as chunky as it looks, but it is still a big book. But The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, that will be my last Victorian novel that I have on the list. Hopefully by just happenstance, they'll fit some of the challenges that the group has. I don't have a short story, which is Marissa's challenge, and I don't have poetry, which is Roz's challenge for this year, but we'll see how the rest of them kind of work out. Maybe I'll get lucky and they'll fit the other prompts, but those are my Victorian picks. I have one other buddy read scheduled, which is with Shelley Swearingen and my friend Sonia, and we are going to be reading Edith Wharton's The Age of Innocence. This book was published in 1920 in America, so it definitely doesn't cover for Victober. This was actually a present from Shelley. She sent it to me. I'm excited to read this. This will be my second Wharton book. I don't know anything at all about this book, but I'm always excited to read with Shelley and with Sonia. So that is my other book. Though I have one more from the 1001 book countdown. That makes 6 books off the countdown for this month. That's a lot. So we'll see how this goes. I've had this particular book on my TBR since June and haven't gotten to it. It keeps getting pushed. So I'm going to try it again in October. And that is 1004 by Ben Lerner. This was published, I believe, in the 2000s somewhere. So clearly, obviously not Victorian. And the back of this one says, in the last year, the narrator of 1004 has enjoyed unlikely literary success, has been diagnosed with a potentially fatal medical condition, and has been asked by his best friend to help her conceive a child. In a New York of increasingly frequent superstorms, great, we're in the midst of a hurricane, or the Hurricane Ian is off the coast of Florida right now, not great, and social unrest, again, too topical right now, we'll see. He must reckon with his own mortality and face the prospect of fatherhood in a city that might soon be underwater. Ooh. So, but I have tried to read it no less than 2 other times. In 2 other months, it's been on my TBR and keeps getting pushed. I'm running out of time this year to finish all the books I have wanted to read in 2022. So let's see how this one goes. And then so at the beginning of the year, I had said I would, 2 of my reading goals, one was to read a new release and one was to read a nonfiction book every month to try and just keep up with some other reading. And my nonfiction book was easier to select than the new release was. So my nonfiction book is going to be Hunger by Roxane Gay. I have, kind of some method as to why I'm reading this in this month, which I might share later. But I wanted to read Roxane Gay for a while, and I feel like this is really applicable to me right now. So I'm going to pick up this one. This one says, in this intimate and searing memoir, the New York Times bestselling author Roxane Gay addresses the experience of living in a body that she calls wildly undisciplined. She casts an insightful and critical eye over her childhood, teens, and 20s, including the devastating act of violence that was a turning point in her young life, and brings readers into the present and the realities, pains, and joys of her daily life. With the bracing candor, vulnerability, and authority that have made her one of the most admired voices of her generation, Roxane Gay explores what it means to be overweight in a time when the bigger you are, the less you are seen. Hunger is a deeply personal memoir from one of our finest writers, and it tells a story that hasn't yet been told but needs to be. So yeah, that I just this is a book I feel like I need to be reading, personally need to be reading right now. So that will be my nonfiction pick for my new release. I don't know. I am going to kind of just wait and see. I am going book shopping this weekend at Barnes& and Noble. They're opening a new store, and Gina Stanier and I are going to meet and go check it out. I'm very excited. So we'll see if there's a new release there that strikes my fancy. There might be. I'm gonna keep my eyes and ears open while I'm there for something that will meet that criteria. The newest release I have on my shelf isn't one I really wanted to pick up right now, so I'm gonna just wait and see. A little bit of a mood read for my new release, and I will let you know on Instagram what that will be when I decide what it is. So that is my official TBR. Like I said, it's a lot. I mean, that's normal for me though, right? This isn't that unusual for me to have this many. But like I said, Victorian literature is always a bit of a challenge. Let's see how it goes. But that is all I have for you today for my October reading plans, TBR, pile of possibilities, whatever we're calling it these days. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.